Have you been asked to post to your general ledger and you're not sure how to do that? Well, you've come to the right place because I'm Professor Capko and I'm going to show you in this video how to do it very easily today. But first, I want to say I believe something great is going to happen for you today. And now, back to the video. If you find accounting difficult, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up so I can make some additional videos and make it easy for you. In accounting, we create several different journals and ledgers. There's a general journal, and we've done some transactions that I've shown you how to post those to the general journal, and those involves the debits and credits, and each debit has an equal and corresponding credit. We've done transactions on that, and now we're going to post those transactions to the general ledger. Let's look at the first transaction. Now, often these transactions will have a reference number of some sort, and often they will also have a date. In this case, we're just going to use a reference number. And the first transaction shows a debit to cash for $10,000 and a credit to common stock for $10,000. I'm going to go look at my general ledger for those accounts. So the first one let's look for is cash. Here's an example of a general ledger, and it would have a beginning balance. Now this is showing the beginning of a company, so the common stock and the cash for the startup of the company. So most of your accounts are going to have a zero balance, but always check the prior balance sheet to make sure that the balance here, the beginning balance, matches the ending balance from the prior balance sheet. Now let's go ahead and enter our transactions here. We have a debit of cash of 10,000, so I'm going to debit cash for 10,000, and that gives us a balance here as 10,000. Now this is not, the balance is not a debit or a credit. We've got the debits here and the credits here. The balance is just going to be the difference between the debits and credits plus the beginning balance, and that'll ultimately give us an ending balance. So that's the first transaction, or the first part of the transaction. We have the cash. Now we need to find the account for common stock. I have that right here. And again, there's a beginning balance of 0. And our transaction showed a credit to common stock for $10,000. And again, our balance here is going to now be $10,000. Even though this is a credit, it's going to just show a balance of $10,000. So that takes care of the first transaction. Let's look at the next one. The next one, we're going to debit equipment for $500. And we're going to credit cash for $500. So evidently they purchased some equipment. Equipment is an asset for some cash. So I'm going to look for my debit first. So I need to find the particular ledger that has equipment, and this one has it. We're going to debit the equipment for the $500. Beginning balance was 0, so our new balance here is $500. And I should put the reference number here. Don't forget to put the reference for each of these transactions. The reference in this one was number 1, and the cash reference was also a number 1. So don't forget to put that. The second part of this is a credit of cash of 500. So I'm going to credit cash for 500, and that's reference number 2. So I have to reduce my balance by 500. So my new balance is 9,500 in the cash account. That takes care of the second transaction. Now we're going to work on the third transaction. I'm going to debit inventory for 5,000 and credit accounts payable for 5,000. Inventory is going to be debited 5,000, and that's reference number 3. And there'll be, since there's a 0 beginning balance, our new balance in inventory will be 5,000. And our accounts payable, which is a liability account, is going to be credited for 5,000. And that is, again, our reference number 3, because that's the transaction it is, and my balance accounts payable is $5,000. That takes care of transaction number 3. Let's look at transaction number 4. We're going to debit rent expense. So I've got to find my ledger, and my ledger for rent expense is here, and we know that we're going to debit it for $1,200. So our rent expense balance is now $1,200, and that reference is 4. That's why you can cross-reference back to what each of these transactions are in the general journal, and that rent was paid in cash. So I need to reduce my cash by doing a reference number 4. I'm going to credit cash for the $1,200. And I need to reduce my cash balance by $1,200. So that's going to be $300. It's going to be $8,300 there for my balance in the cash account. So far, so good. The next transaction, took care of number 4, is we're going to receive some cash, $100 in sales revenue. So I'm going to go back to my cash account, and for reference number 5, we're going to receive cash. So that's a debit of $100, and our balance is going to increase. So we have $8,400 as our new balance in the cash account, and that was sales revenue. So I'm going to credit sales revenue for that $100. So our balance in that account is $100. And again, that was reference number 5. We took care of that. And now, finally, our 6th and final transaction. Our cost of goods sold is going to be $50. Our inventory is going to be reduced by $50. So I find the cost of goods sold ledger, and because we're debiting that, that's going to be a debit over here, and that's reference transaction number 6, and our cost of goods sold will have a balance of $50. I need to reduce my inventory by that $50, so I find the inventory ledger, and that's reference number 6. I'm going to credit inventory for $50, and our new balance is going to be the $4,950 is our new balance here in inventory. We have now properly accounted for all 6 transactions from our general journal. They've all been put into the general ledger, and we've updated the balances. Now you know how to do that, but there's more that you're going to need to know. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to this channel and smash that notification bell so you'll never miss a video. Thank you.